Welcome to Career Conversations for English Learners. I'm your host, Sarah. In this podcast, we talk about work and careers to help you improve your professional English. We want to make workplace English clear and accessible for everyone.
Today we have a special guest, Leo. Leo is a marketing manager at a large, well-known technology company. Welcome, Leo.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. I'm really excited to be on the show.
We're so happy you could join us. Today, Leo and I will have a detailed discussion about our jobs, what we do every day, and our professional goals. We'll be defining key terms as we go, so we hope this conversation helps you learn new vocabulary and understand more about professional life in an English-speaking company.
Sounds great. Let's get started.
So, to start, Leo, maybe I can explain my job first. I work in a very different industry from you.
Yeah, that sounds great. Where do you work?
I am an HR manager at an accounting firm. An accounting firm is a company that helps other businesses with their finances, like taxes and financial reports. It's a very structured and traditional environment.
Right, very different from a tech company. So you're an HR manager. What does HR stand for?
HR stands for Human Resources.
Human resources. And what does that mean in practice?
Good question. It means my department is responsible for the people or the employees of the company. We handle everything related to an employee's journey with the company, from the very beginning to the very end.
So you're involved in every step of their career at the company.
Exactly. My main tasks include recruiting. Recruiting is the process of finding and interviewing new candidates for open jobs. We post job ads, review resumes, and talk to potential new employees.
Right, finding the right people.
Yes, after we hire someone, we have the onboarding process. Onboarding is when we help a new employee get started. We give them their equipment, explain company rules, introduce them to their team, and make sure they feel welcome and prepared.
That makes sense. A good start must be very important for a new person.
It's critical. Another big part of my job is managing employee relations. That means if there are any problems or conflicts between employees or between an employee and their manager, I act as a neutral person to help solve the issue.
That sounds challenging.
It can be, but it's also very rewarding to help people work better together. I also manage employee benefits. Benefits are the extra things a company gives to its employees, besides salary. For example, health insurance, paid vacation time, or a retirement plan.
Ah, okay. The perks of the job.
Exactly. And finally, we organize training programs to help our staff learn new skills and grow professionally. So it's a very varied job.
Wow, that's a lot of different responsibilities. It sounds like you need to be very organized and a great communicator.
You definitely do. So what about you? Tell us about being a marketing manager at a fast-paced tech company.
Of course, it's definitely a different world. As you can imagine, a tech company is often very dynamic and always changing. My main goal as a marketing manager is to promote my company's software products. We want businesses and individuals to know about our technology and how it can help them.
Marketing is really all about communication. We communicate the value of our products to potential customers. We try to build a strong connection between the customer and our brand.
When you say brand, what do you mean?
Great question. A brand is more than just a name or a logo. It's the overall feeling or image people have about a company or its products. We want our brand to be seen as innovative, reliable, and helpful.
That makes sense. So how do you build that brand image? What are your typical tasks?
Well, a big part of my job is developing the marketing strategy. A strategy is a long-term plan. We decide who our target audience is, the specific group of people we want to reach. Then we create the key messages we want them to hear and decide which channels to use, like social media, email, or online advertising.
Okay, so you create the high-level plan.
Exactly. Based on that strategy, my team and I create and run marketing campaigns. A campaign is a specific, planned set of activities to achieve a goal, like launching a new feature. This could include creating video ads, writing articles for our blog, or hosting a webinar. A webinar is an online seminar or presentation.
That sounds very creative and busy.
It is. There's also an analytical side. I do a lot of market research. That means we study the industry to understand our customers' needs and to see what our competitors are doing. Competitors are other companies that sell similar products.
Right, you have to stay ahead of the game.
Yes, always. And finally, as a manager, I lead a team of about 10 marketing specialists. I support them, give them feedback, and make sure our projects are on track and on budget.
That's a fantastic overview, Leo. I have a much clearer picture now. So, what does a typical day look like for you? Is it chaotic?
Sometimes it is. It's usually very busy and fast-paced, but in an exciting way.
I can imagine.
I usually start my day around 8:30 a.m. The first thing I do is check my emails and our team's communication channel, like Slack or Microsoft Teams. I need to see if there are any urgent issues from overnight. I also review my calendar to prepare for my meetings.
Getting prepared is key.
It is. At 9 a.m., we have our daily team stand-up meeting. We all stand up and each person gives a 1-minute update on their work. It's a great way to stay aligned and solve problems quickly.
Aligned, that's a good business word. It means making sure everyone is working together towards the same goal.
Exactly. After that, I usually have a block of focus time. I might spend 2 hours working on a big project, like writing the strategy for our next quarter. The quarter is a 3-month period of the year. Or I might be analyzing data from our recent social media campaign to see how well it performed.
So, a mix of creative work and data analysis.
Precisely. Lunch is around noon. I really try to take a full hour and step away from my computer. In the afternoon, I usually have more meetings. I might have a brainstorming session with my team to come up with new ideas for a campaign. Brainstorming is when a group of people share ideas freely.
Right.
Or I might meet with the product development team to learn about new features they are building. Marketing needs to work closely with them.
It sounds like there's a lot of collaboration.
Constant collaboration. That's a huge part of the job. A big challenge is just managing my time effectively between meetings and my own tasks. Sometimes there aren't enough hours in the day. Before I finish, around 5:30 or 6 p.m., I review my to-do list and plan my top 3 priorities for the next day.
That's a smart habit. My day has a different rhythm.
I'm curious to hear about it.
Well, my schedule is often less predictable because it depends on people's needs. For example, my mornings are often filled with interviews. I might interview a candidate for a tax accountant position and then another for an administrative assistant. I usually ask a mix of technical questions about their skills and behavioral questions.
Behavioral questions? What are those?
A behavioral question is one where I ask the candidate to give an example of a past work situation. For example, I might say, "Tell me about a time you had a conflict with a coworker and how you resolved it." It helps me understand how they act in real situations.
That's clever.
When I'm not in interviews, I'm often in confidential meetings with employees. They might want to discuss their career goals, or perhaps they are facing a difficult situation at work. My job is to listen and provide support and guidance.
That's a challenge sometimes, having those difficult conversations.
I can imagine that takes a lot of empathy.
It does. I also have to do a fair amount of administrative work. That means office tasks like paperwork. I might be preparing an offer letter for a new employee, which is the official document offering them the job. Or I could be updating the company's employee handbook, which is the book of rules and policies.
That sounds like it requires great attention to detail.
It certainly does. A small mistake in a document can cause big problems later. And like you, I have meetings with other department heads. We might discuss the company's overall hiring strategy for the year or plan our annual performance reviews, where employees get feedback on their work.
So we both share the joy of many meetings.
It seems to be a universal manager experience. I usually try to block out the last hour of my day to catch up on emails and make sure I've followed up on everything.
It's really interesting to see the similarities and differences. So Sarah, thinking about the future, what are some of your professional goals?
It's fascinating how different our daily routines are. It really highlights the difference in company culture between our industries. You mentioned your workplace is dynamic and fast-paced. Can you tell me more about what that means in practice? What's the culture like at your tech company?
That's a great question. In the short term, one of my goals is to get a professional certification in employment law. The laws about work are very complex and change often, and I want to be a true expert to better protect the company and support our employees.
Absolutely. The culture is very open and collaborative. We have an open plan office, so there are no private offices, not even for senior managers. The idea is to encourage communication and the free flow of ideas. We're also very results-oriented. It doesn't matter if you work from 9 to 5, as long as you deliver high-quality work on time. There's a lot of flexibility. A certification, that's a great way to deepen your knowledge.
That's a huge contrast to my firm. We have a very traditional office layout with cubicles and private offices for managers. It's more formal. The dress code is business professional every day, and the work hours are quite rigid. The culture values structure, process, and predictability. It's built around minimizing risk, which makes sense for an accounting firm.
I think so. In the long term, I'm working on my leadership skills. I want to become a better mentor for the junior members of my HR team. A mentor is an experienced person who advises and guides a less experienced person. My goal is to help them grow into future HR leaders themselves.
That makes sense. In tech, the culture is all about innovation and moving fast. Sometimes this can lead to what we call pivoting. A pivot is when a company quickly changes its strategy or direction. It can be a bit chaotic, but it's also what makes it exciting. We have to adapt constantly to new technology and market trends. That's a fantastic goal. Helping others develop their careers is so rewarding.
We don't do much pivoting. Stability is a key value for us. But what about decision-making? In our hierarchical structure, decisions are typically made at the top and then communicated down to the teams. It can be a slow process, but it's very deliberate.
It's the best part of my job. What about you, Leo? What are your career ambitions?
It's quite different for us. We have a flatter organizational structure. This means there are fewer layers of management between employees and the top leaders. We encourage a bottom-up approach to ideas. Anyone on the team can propose a new idea, and if it's good, we might test it. It's more democratic, but sometimes it can be hard to reach a consensus. Well, a big professional goal for me is to lead a major international product launch. My company's expanding into markets in Europe and Asia, and I want to be the one leading the marketing strategy for that. It would be a huge challenge, managing different cultures and languages, but also very exciting.
That sounds really empowering for employees. What about team events and social life? In our firm, we have formal events like an annual dinner or a holiday party. It's very organized.
Wow, an international launch. That sounds like a dream project for a marketer.
We're much more informal. We have a social committee that organizes things like team lunches every Friday, video game tournaments, or happy hours after work. The company also provides a lot of perks in the office, like free snacks and coffee, and the game room. The goal is to create a fun and creative environment where people feel comfortable and connected. It really is. On a more personal development level, I want to become a more effective public speaker. As a marketing leader, I often have to give presentations to large groups, sometimes hundreds of people. I want to be able to stand on a stage and deliver a compelling, confident, and persuasive message.
That sounds amazing, but also potentially distracting. At our firm, the focus is purely on the work during office hours. The social aspect is seen as separate. It's interesting how both cultures are designed to achieve success, but they use completely different approaches to get there. One values structure and discipline. The other values flexibility and creativity.
That's a great skill to have in any profession.
Exactly. And neither is right or wrong. They're just suited to different types of work and industries. It shows how important it is for people to find a company culture that fits their own personality and work style. A great culture for one person could be a terrible fit for another. I agree. I think continuing to learn is so important. I'm always reading marketing blogs, and I try to attend a few industry webinars each month to stay updated on the latest trends.
That's a very important point for our listeners to consider when they are job hunting. The culture is just as important as the job description.
Me too. I'm part of a few HR professional groups, and we share articles and best practices. You can never stop learning.
Definitely. You can often get a sense of the culture during the interview process. Pay attention to how people communicate, the office environment if you visit, and the types of questions they ask. Don't be afraid to ask about company culture directly. Ask, what is the work-life balance like? Or how does the team celebrate success?
So true.
Those are excellent practical tips, and it links back to what you said earlier about networking. Talking to people who work at the company is the best way to understand the real day-to-day culture beyond the official company website. And that brings me to our final topic, advice. Many of our listeners are learning English and want to succeed in an international workplace. What is one piece of advice you would give them?
That's a tough one. Just one piece. Okay, I think my advice would be don't be afraid to show your personality. Sometimes when people are speaking a second language, they can be a bit shy or quiet, but your ideas and your unique perspective are valuable. Share your thoughts in meetings. Ask questions. Let your colleagues get to know you.
That is wonderful advice. Be yourself.
Exactly. And a second one, if I may?
Please.
Build your network. Networking means making professional connections. Go to industry events, even online ones. Use professional websites like LinkedIn. Ask people for a 15-minute informational interview, just to learn about what they do. Your network can help you find jobs, solve problems, and learn about your industry.
Excellent points. What about me? My first piece of advice would be to focus on clarity over perfection. In the workplace, being clear is more important than using perfect grammar. Use simple sentences. Don't be afraid to say, "Can you please repeat that?" or "Let me rephrase that to make sure I understand." Clear communication prevents mistakes.
That's so true. It's better to be clear than to be silent.
Exactly. And my second piece of advice is to be proactive about feedback. Proactive means you take action yourself. You don't wait for others. Ask your manager, "How am I doing?" Or "Is there anything I can improve on?" It shows that you are committed to growing and learning, and managers love that.
That's great advice.
Well, Leo, this has been such an insightful conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your experience as a marketing manager.
The pleasure was all mine, Sarah. It was great to talk with you.
So, to our listeners, we hope this discussion was helpful. We talked about the roles of an HR manager in a traditional firm and a marketing manager in a tech company. We described our busy workdays and we shared some career goals and advice for you.
Remember, building a career is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and keep learning every day.
That's all the time we have for today. Join us next time for another episode of Career Conversations for English Learners. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye, everyone. Good luck.